amazing story.
Yes.
But it takes a lot of integrity. It takes a lot of a word I can't find right now to deal with something like that when somebody have wronged you, and then you come back and you be so gracious with them.
Maturity.
Yeah, maturity. Yeah, you treat them how they treated you, but you gave him more respect than he deserved in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Although as excellent as he was, you know. So let's move on. So now you're in the your spoken word. You're all over the place. People are respecting you. You've earned your credit, and you venture into the cigar game.
Yes.
And so you're now in cigar lounges with the other gentleman. Was that a cigar lounge?
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, and the thing about it is that I didn't know it was a lounge when we started there. So the first absent lounge was a cigar room.
Okay.
The second one was not.
Okay.
So it was like we went from cigars to no cigars.
Okay.
You know, but we still promoted it as a relief session. So what I did is I used the versatility part of it. I could do shirts with a microphone. I could do shirts with a cigar.
So you
Depends on
made
the
that
venue.
transition, right?
Yes, the venue tells you everything.
Okay. I'm walking carefully into this next question because I know part of the story. So why did you choose to take the turn and move your team into cigar lounges, and how did they feel about that?
I felt like the city needed it. I feel like the poetry community needed it because nobody was doing it. You know, these poets have to stop going to these venues that only can give you one thing. You know, what can you get out these venues that you're giving them? You know, so I felt like, and I did my research, I couldn't find one poetry show in this city or any other city, let alone, that was putting the cigar smokers with the poetry. Not one. So I said to myself, I like cigars, and I like poetry. How can we put them together?
Right.
Now, it is chancy because everybody doesn't like cigars. Everybody doesn't smoke cigars.
That's
so
true.
you have to deal with that. But I think what happened was I told my team, this is what I'm doing. And you guys need to jump on this train because it's going to be nice. It's going to be very nice.
I personally am glad you did.
Yes, because I didn't have a team. I didn't want a team at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just the release session and poets. You know, but I said, you know, it's not a bad look to have a release session poetry team where we could branch off to other venues, let alone our venue. And so, honestly, it came together piece by piece by piece by piece. You know, Misdirected, she's the longest standing member of the release session poetry team. And Miss Sassy, those were the two originals. You know, and then you have Big Dave, one of my closest friends, who didn't even do poetry.
He proclaims I'm not a...
Yeah, he's not on board. And
Right.
then, you know, and then over time, people, how can I be a part of this? How can I be a part of this? You know, we put it together. So the cigars is something that was needed. It turned out to be one of the best ideas because now everybody's doing it.
Right, right.
and I'm
Because
okay
it adds
with
a
it.
wonderful conversation to the room. It just, it does something for the atmosphere. When you all came to the attaché, that night I did my best to make sure your audience had the seating necessary. But when you came, it was a whole experience and shift in the room. It didn't feel like a cigar lounge.
No.
It felt like the relief session. And that's what it was. I mean, I
Yes.
totally appreciated it. So I'm
Man,
glad
just
you
think
came.
about it. People to the point, they weren't saying I'm going to the attaché lounge. We're going to the release session. And it's just, and you walk in there, and you're like, oh,
It's
this
totally
is what we're
changed.
doing? I loved it.
People
was a
loved
great
it.
experience.
Absolutely. So, and your team, of course, they were with you
Yes.
regardless, no matter where you went, because they stayed, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you have anybody like, I'm done?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had people that dropped off, people that left, people didn't want to be a part of it, people didn't show up. And I was okay with that. All I can do is bring you there.
Right.
That's all I can do is bring you there. At some point, as a poet, you have to branch off and do your own things, as people like Miss Sassy have done, who created her own shows and feature, Misdirected, and Big Dave, who's now featuring everywhere in the city, and Real Spill, who's now hosting his own shows. All that's from the release session. You know, it's poets out there right now who are doing poetry shows and who couldn't find a venue to do their book signing. Where do they do it? Release session. Poets who couldn't find anywhere to give them their features. Where do they do it? The release session. And now they're all out there doing their thing, which I love it. But they all started
at the release
session. Right. Every last single one of them.
Wow. So you've been the gateway for a lot of people's success in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So what is the most difficult thing you feel you have had to encounter with the relief session, or maybe just whatever it is? What's been the most difficult thing?
I would say, you know, we're gonna put it out there. You know, I would say, loyalty.
Loyalty.
Loyalty. I've been disappointed by some people that I've trusted. You know, I've been let down by some people and poets that I trusted.
In what way, if you don't mind?
Bringing them along and providing a platform for them, promoting them, networking them, paying them, for them not to let me be a part of what you're doing.
Oh, wow. Really?
You know, I haven't been invited to poetry shows.
Really?
People don't call me and say, hey.
Maybe they feel like you're too busy like I do. I'm like, okay, is he going to make it? Is he going to be able to
that's
have time?
Fine. That's fine, but I would appreciate the invite.
The offer, yeah.
You know,
because you'll make time for those that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people have featured at the release session, but I can't think of how many times somebody's invited me to feature on their show.
Their shows.
I've had poets who were used to be on my team leave my team, try to take people off my poetry team.
Really? Do
their shows with poets that I introduced them to and not invite me to be a part of it. It's happened.
Oh wow!
And, you know,
that's okay.
You know, and it's crazy because it's poetry. It's not a rap battle. It's poetry. Right. But the difference with me is that I just to a point I don't care, and to a point I do, because the release session, we're still going to do 100 and something shows. You know, and if some shows that were out there and they were rolling, they were saying a lot of things and they didn't last.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay.
It didn't last, you know, and I'll last because I have the support. I'm humble. I'm hospitable. I'm going to reach out to any particular poet, and it's not one poet in this city that's going to tell you, Will wronged me. He didn't pay me. He didn't invite me. He didn't promote me. He didn't network. I was promoting poets more than I was promoting myself. And who does that?
Right.
But I did it, and I'm okay with it. But I don't like where it is today. I don't like it.
So let's talk about that.
Yes.
It feels like, from what I've seen, and I've actually looked up some things and seen people's comments, the game is shifting. Yes. The spoken word industry is changing. Tell me about how you feel about that. Like, why is it shifting? And it doesn't feel like it's a positive shift. Some of it seems like it's negative, and it's kind of like crabs in a barrel almost, or like, I want to be better and I can't give you any credit because you're truly better than me.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna, you know.
I think where it is right now is it's becoming too competitive.
Okay, that's a good word.
And it should be competitive.
Yeah.
You know, we should all be able to do the same thing on the same platform, and I don't like it. And I think it's becoming more about money than passion.
Oh, okay.
I think. You know, some of these shows that are going on right now, they're just finding the mic and the stage and say, here. You know, to me, it's when you create a poetry show, it has to be more than that. You know?
Well, you've made it look so easy. Everybody thinks they can do it.
Yes, and it's not.
It's not. So it's work.
After those shows, I'm exhausted. Like, I have nothing. But we have to learn to create an environment, create a vibe for your show, and make it affordable for people to enjoy you. You know, because in today's world we live in, there's a lot of things people can do on a Friday night.
True. Yeah.
And not spend no money.
Right.
But if you're going to invite people to your poetry show, one, make it affordable. Two, have a show. Exactly. You have people that are putting things on flyers and all, and it's not adding up. And I'm just gonna be honest with you.
It's not adding up.
I don't like where it said, well, we're charging $17 at the door to hear some poetry. I get you want to pay your bills. I get it. But my approach is, if you treat people right, you treat people right, and you give people the opportunity to experience what you're providing, it'll come.
Right, right.
I did free shows for 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. And it's been many nights where I was charging after I paid the DJ, after I paid the poets, after I paid the house. I like, what did I make? Did I eat today?
Yeah.
And I was okay with
still.
it. You know why? Because I put on a great damn show.
Yes.
So somebody said, yeah, well, we got to come back. And that's what even right now, I still get anywhere I go. Yo, when is the release session? When is that? When you coming back? And you know why? Because I made it affordable. I put together a great show, and I promoted, I networked everybody. You know, so lastly, I'm just gonna say, these poets out here, you need to give your flowers. Give your flowers, because that's what pisses me off.
Right.
You're not giving your flowers.
Right.
You're out here, you know, doing shows where you got to be half naked and call it erotic. You know,
wow.
You gotta, you know, you gotta just pick somebody's backyard and call that a venue. Just stop it.
Just stop it.
Just stop it. Get back to the basics,
Right.
which was a microphone, a DJ, a vibe, and some great spoken word poetry. Let's get back to that. You know, because I could say a lot of things for a lot of people that I helped. A lot of people that I pushed along the way. And you know what? And I support them. I love them. You know, and those that turned their back on me, I still love you. I still stay with you. I just ain't gonna do business with you.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm like, well, where's the lesson? Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So have you had people come up to you and say, Will, I really appreciate who you are. I respect you. Can you critique this piece for me? Can you help me work on this, make it better?
Absolutely. I still get it all the time. And I'll continue to do it.
You haven't heard any bad ones like, oh my God, it's just trash?
No, you know, because what I tell poets is that some of the best poetry I've heard had one line in it.
Okay.
Had one line, and it was some of the best poetry I heard.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I tell people, say it how you want to say it, write it how you want to write it. You know, I have a young lady hit me the other day about mentoring her in poetry.
Okay.
And she says, but I don't have it memorized. I said, so?
That's right.
I don't memorize nothing. I can't even tell you what I ate for dinner yesterday. And I
Wow.
said, it ain't about how you say the message, it's about the message.
Yes.
I don't care if you read it off a phone, paper or not, but if I feel it, I'm gonna feel it. You know, so I tell any poet all the time, I'm here. I can help you with anything, even if it's not poetry. You trying to create your own show, which I've done many, many, many times over. I got you.
Right.
For absolutely nothing.
Well, that's good. That's everybody's expression means something to them, so I
Yeah.
certainly understand where you're coming
yeah.
from on that. Okay. So we're going to kind of move a little bit into some of the statements.
Okay.
My first question, though, in reference to statements, so what inspires you to write? You've written a book. You're an author. So with your book, what was the message in that book?
Okay.
And are you still selling the book?
Yes. Funny message. The name of the book is called A Player's Prayer.
Okay.
I wrote that book in 2008. It is on Amazon right now.
Amazon.
You can also get it at Barnes & Nobles. But to be honest with you, the message was, I wrote about my perception of meeting a woman and how to approach a woman.
Oh.
I wrote about every woman that I met in my life up until that point, what they meant to me, whether it was good, bad. I was going through a bad marriage at the time, so I wrote about my experiences within that marriage, and I wrote about women. You know, I wrote about how I feel my approach to women was growing up, because when I was growing up, I had bad self-esteem. I felt like I couldn't talk to a woman for anything.
Oh, wow.
And one day it changed, you know, so all of that's in the book, which I hope to get to a movie, but that's in the book. And I'm currently writing my second book, which is called Pain is Love.
Oh, wow.
That book I'm going to dedicate to my son and my grandmother, rest in heaven. But the purpose of that book is to show, to me, in life you really don't appreciate love until you go through some type of pain.
Wow.
Whether it's financially, whether it's you lose a family member, a friend, whether it's divorce. I just feel in life, when we hurt, we run to love.
Yeah.
Because love covers that pain up. It heals that wound, you know, and to me, you gotta have both. I mean,
balance.
if you're gonna pray for the rain, be ready for the mud. You know, so
Well,
I
yeah,
just feel
as a
like
result of it.
that's gonna be, that's the purpose of that book, so hopefully we'll get that out there.
Good. And you said your current book is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble?
Barnes & Nobles.
And it's called?
A Player's Prayer.
A Player's Prayer. Okay, very good. So I did a little research, and this statement is not really
you
a
researched
statement.
me?
Yeah, I learned from the best. So this statement or this piece that you did, and I'm not even sure if I have the name because I don't think I got it right. It might be probably my fault or my fault. Do you remember the name of that piece, right? Back in 2017 is when you like actually put it out there on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so it's an evergreen piece because it applies to today. And I think most of your pieces
Probably
do,
my
right? Okay, and this piece here, this part of it says, I should have known better than you ain't no better. I'm not going to say it as gracefully as you. If you're going to twist it, I admit it. Hell, it's probably my fault.
Yes.
I thought that was really good. You put several pieces there, but this one stuck out at me because it's like self-remorse a little bit, and then it's kind of a confession, but then it blames. So I'm like, okay, what did you want us to feel or get from that piece?
From that piece, when I say it's probably my fault, I feel like in relationships sometimes, we go back and forth, we bump heads over things that can take a simple conversation. But I think sometimes people are too stubborn to just either walk away from it or accept their wrongdoings.
Right.
So in that particular piece, I'm writing that the person hurt me. I knew they hurt me,
Right.
but I pushed you to the point where you hurt me. So
Oh,
it's probably
wow.
my fault.
Okay.
Even though it's really not.
Okay. It's probably my fault.
Even though it's really not. So what I mean is that every emotion to me comes from another emotion.
Every action
So
has a reaction.
there you go.
Okay.
You know, so I pushed the person to a point where they hurt me. You know, so yeah, it's my fault that you're saying or doing the things you're doing, but at the same time, you don't have to do those.
You have a choice.
You had a choice.
Gotcha.
And that's where
Okay.
it comes from.
So do you have a formula when you're writing?
Yes and no. To be honest with you, I don't even name my poems till after I write them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never titled a poem and then wrote. I literally just wrote. And once I'm through, I say, you know what, let's call it this.
Okay.
You know, and my poetry has two different decades. You know, to be honest with you, I have poetry before my son passed, and I have poetry after my son passed. And those are two different poets. Those are two different poets. So now when I write, as a gender to it, that's something I'm going for.
Right.
When I was writing before, I was just writing. Let's just see where this goes. You know, so
Okay.
it's two different deals.
Okay. That is interesting. So I have personally heard you lend emotional hand to those that are dealing with mental illness, depression. I've heard you specifically say, hey, if you're out there and you're dealing with this, hit me up. And that you would really have that conversation with them and talk to them. Your life has, it's been a testimony of survival from the things I've heard you say in reference to your grandmother, your son. What would you say to people that might still be struggling in this area?
Reach out to anybody. Don't ever close yourself in. Don't ever feel like locking myself in the house, I'll be okay. I think isolation is the biggest enemy for mental awareness and mental health, because I believe if you feel like you want to isolate yourself, now you're alone. You know, and
too much thought.
Right. And so my message, and has always been and continue to be, is to talk to people. It can be a friend, a brother. It can be me. I don't have to know you to listen to you. You know, because this life we're in right now, you know, we're judged, and we have so many closed avenues and doors that we get trapped among ourselves. And sometimes the total stranger is your best friend, and they don't judge you, and that's what we used to say in the release session. If you remember, at the end of every show, we have the actual release session, where you have my microphone to say whatever on your mind to a bunch of people who are not going to judge you. They're going to pray for you. And you know, so I tell people all the time, reach out, reach out, reach out. And just real quick, I remember doing a poetry show one time, and I did a piece called "Please Don't Kill Yourself." It's one of the pieces I like to do when it comes to mental awareness. But I did that piece, and I walked outside. This guy pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey, I want to tell you that I appreciate the poem you did a while ago." I said, "Which one?" He said, "The poem about killing yourself." I said, "Oh, I appreciate that." He said, "Because," he said, "I was depressed today." He said, "I was in the house. I was depressed all day. I wasn't going to come out." He said, "But I decided to come out here to poetry." He said, "You said that piece." He said, "I just want to tell you thank you, because I needed it." And that's what I do it for.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah. That was good.
Yes.
Okay, so one of my final questions after this statement here, you said that you're going to reach 100 shows and you were going to stop. You were done. That was it. You're still going. So where are you at now? What is it, 158?
Well, I was, but somebody wouldn't let me retire. I think you know that individual. But we're at 158 shows. We're trending. But I'll be honest with you. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's
slowing
coming.
down.
It's coming.
Because you got all these other things that you are
Yes.
moving into.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I feel like my job is done. I provided the platform.
Yes, you
I
have.
promoted. I networked. We went to Miami and killed it.
Oh yeah, you did. You just came back from Miami.
Nobody had did that.
Wow.
We did it. You know, so, but we're going to keep doing it while there's a microphone standing. But I will say, after 158 shows, and I look back, it's such a beautiful thing. And
Definitely put in the work.
You know, I'm not walking out the door now, but.
What about emceeing? Just like maybe
Oh yeah.
MC a
you
couple.
know, I'm retired from featuring. That I don't do.
Okay.
But I still spit, I still host, I still MC, I still do all these different things. You know, I would love to leave the release session in the hands of somebody, but I don't know if there's a person out there for that.
There's nobody like Will. I would rather you retire.
Me too.
Alrighty, so we're going to finalize our interview and our time here. We appreciate IAMWIL so much for stopping by with the relief session, but I got a quick round here because there were some special things I wanted to ask him.
Right.
Okay, so he met Jason Mitchell that played Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton. How did that feel?
You know, it was a good experience. Met another actor, introduced himself. I told him about the Producer Chronicles, told him to watch it. He said he would. Super cool guy.
Good deal. Okay, and your favorite cigar, you spoke on that earlier, was Drew?
Estate Factory Smoke. Sweet tip, super good.
Okay, final question, because I know you did a little teasing on food. Fried bologna or grilled cheese?
Oh, fried bologna all day.
All day, every day.
Fried bologna all day. Mayonnaise.
Okay, and then so finally, what's next for IAMWIL?
Next is finishing the book, Pain is Love, screenplay into another movie, hopefully, some more acting, and more writing, and more cigars.
Okay, so where can we find you? 'Cause you do a lot of cigar lifestyle, so where will you be next, at least with that?
You know, you can find me 3 days a week at 413 Sports Kitchen in Louisville. I'm there Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. You can find me at Lava Cantina on Sundays. Saturdays is kind of open. I'm everywhere. Monday and Tuesdays, I rest.
All righty. Well, thank you all for your time. Thank you, our special guest, IAMWIL. This
Mavs
has
up.
been Mavs Up, the Business Alliance Center. I am your host today, Denice Stanford. If you'd like to interview with us, please reach out to us on our message center via text, 682-422-7090. Let us help you on your business journey, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe to this channel, like and share our videos, and definitely pass on the word. So let us help you with your business journey. We'll see you next time, and check out the description for the free workbooks. And also make sure that you check out our other channels on TikTok, Instagram, and definitely Facebook. We'll be in touch.